Good day, teacher. I'm going to explain my lesson plan. So the teacher's name is Michelle Dayana Rodriguez Rincon. The grade is sixth grade and the level is A1 advanced. And the duration is the 60 minutes, the class. So the learning outcomes, we had the pragmatic and the linguistic. In the pragmatic, is going to do by the end of the lesson. The student will be able to understand and use the present simple test to talk about like actions or habits. That is the use of the present simple. And they will be able to make and create a affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentence. Obviously using the present simple. Now the linguistic. The students are going to identify the structure like affirmative, that the affirmative is going to have subject, the base verb, the verbs with s, and in the negative the subject, the negative form that is done, it doesn't, and the base verb, and in the interrogative the dual does, the subject, and the base verb. So now the word out is going to do in 10 minutes. The class is going to start by showing picture, and the students are going to do a different activities like play football, reading books, doing karate. So the teacher is going to write some sentence in the board, for example, I play football, he reads a book. So the teacher need to ask a simple question like yes or no to the class. So do you play football or does she read a book? So the student needs to answer the question. So I'm going to explain more about that. It's like the first thing is that so me, I'm going to show the picture like all the picture that I'm going to work in the class, and after that I am going to review in the board the sentence, play football, read a book. This is the second thing. And the third thing that I'm going to do is that I am going to ask to my student the question. For example, do you play football? And I'm going to ask some student to respond. So I am going like example, do you play football? And the student need to respond. Is like that. The step one is the teacher explained the structure of the present simple in three forms: affirmative, negative, and interrogative. It's like the grammar thing. I'm going to explain the topic. So I'm going to explain how is the use of present simple. I am going to explain the structure, how to create a sentence in affirmative, how to create a sentence in negative, how to create a sentence in interrogative. I'm going to explain the use of the rule of the he, she, the third person, that we need to add a s or a es. So the rules of the present simple, and I'm going to explain the auxiliaries, that is do or does, and the negative in don't, it doesn't. And I'm going to make sure that the student understand the topic. For example, I'm going to ask some question and the student need to respond me. I don't know. For example, I'm going to ask how is the structure on affirmative, and the student need to explain me how is the structure, something like that. Or for example, I am going to say, what is the negative form of the present simple, and the student need to respond me that it is done, it doesn't. Something like that. I need to make sure that the students understand the topic because I need to pass to the stage two, that is an activities, and they need to practice and they need to recognize the structure, because if they need to do activities to practice, they need to understand the grammar. So the stage two is that an activity. The students were in a small groups and complete a worksheet with sentence they had to correct or complete using the right form, affirmative, negative, or interrogative. Then they play an online quiz using Wordwall with 7 questions about the correct use of present simple. The quiz includes picture and context clues to help them choose the correct answer. So, the first part is going to do the time is 20 minutes. So the first part of the stage two is that the students are going to do small groups. For example, 3 persons in a group. So they need to complete a worksheet. I am going to do the worksheet and they need to respond or complete and write to the right form of the sentence. This worksheet is going to do in the notebook because it is easy to then complete in the notebook, and I'm going to write the things that they need to do in the board, and so on. They need to respond in the notebook. The second thing that they are going to do is that they play an online quiz using Wordle. Wordle, that is an application of Google. So they are going to do the quiz. The quiz is only 7 questions. They need to correct the present simple. And this quiz have a picture, contents about the present simple. And I am going to show the the quiz. It is something like that. They need to respond. So, for example, they need to read the sentence, and after that, they need to respond what is the correct answer. For example, I. So, what is I? So, don't. And we had 7 sentences. They had time to respond. They need to make sure what is the context about the sentence. They need to choose only one's answer. So it is easy. The quiz is going to have affirmative, negative, and interrogative sentence because they need to practice. So it is easy, but they need to practice and understand the topic, because if they don't understand, it's going to be difficult for them. Now we have the stage three. Students write six original sentence using present simple. So this is easy to affirmative, to negative, to interrogative. And then they ask and answer the interrogative question with a partner. For example, they do this in the notebook. They do to affirmative, to negative, to interrogative. It is easy because it's going to do a short sentence. And after that, in the interrogative form, they need to add a person. For example, they ask to a partner, do you like the coffee? And the partner or their friends or their classmates need to respond, no, I don't like the coffee. So this is a activity to practice the question and the response, because I think that is something difficult to have a conversation. I think that is the most difficult thing for the students, to have a conversation and be fluent and be coherent to the answer. So some students volunteer to share the question and answer with the whole class. I I put that is volunteers because some students are shy. So I think that the student that want to participate is going to be better. So the time is 50 minutes. Now the assessments and evaluation, I will use I will use a checklist to allow the students. For example, I'm going to put a checklist. I'm going to use only for me. The students didn't see the checklist, but I'm going to do the like they did the all activities, they correct the sentence, they understand the topic. I think that for me it's better to have only one note but all the activities. So I'm going to put a parameters about the class and then I'm going to do they understand the topic, they understand the all the rules, and I'm going to check if the student do or don't. So it's something like that. For example, I'm going to do the grammar, the participation, the speaking, the writing activities, and the correct answers in the word walk quiz. That is the activity that I showed before. Now, this is the explanation of the game. This is going to do by seven sentence. They need to choose correct and incorrect. Well, I explained that before, but this is the Spanish, and this is the lane of the game and the resource that I the all the class is the projectors and speakers. For example, uh, I think that this class is used for a school that had resources that had implements in the class in the classroom. So, for example, projectors and speakers, handouts, grammar explanation, worksheet for sentence practice. This worksheet is easy because I think that the worksheet is going to use better to this. It is better to the same because they practice better in a better way and they ask for do better the things. Word wall quiz and board and markets. The markets for the explanation, all the things I need to do in the board and yeah, finish. Now I am going to do a reflection about all the class and what I think about the class. So how I think a class should be to be successful. Sorry, how I think a class should be to be successful. So I think a successful class should be well planned. The teacher should know what the student need and prepare activities that are fun to easy to understand. A student should feel comfortable and not afraid to speak or make mistake. So I think my reflection about that, if that the first thing is the class need to be plain. You need to have a plan lesson. Because if don't have a plan lesson, it's going to be a horrible thing because if you don't have the stage and if you don't have the things that you're going to do in the class, you're going to do crazy in the class. I think you're going to do crazy because you don't have a resource, you don't have the things that you are going to do, and the students are going to be noisy, and they're going to be energy, and they want to do something. If you don't have something to do, then they are going to be stressed and are going to do things that they don't need to do. Okay. Now the student need to be comfortable with the class and the things that is the thing that we need to do is that the students not afraid to speak or my mistake. They need to be confident with the speaking. We need to create a friendly environment to the students. They need to enjoy the learning. And I think that I'm going to have the problems with the do and does and the affirmative things, affirmative force. I think this is going to be a really problem because the student confuse a lot of the rules of the affirmative force. For example, when I need to use the S, when I need to add the S, how I need to do a test. They confuse a lot of the subject because sometimes they put the subject you and they put the s in the verse. So I think that is going to do they are going to do many mistakes in affirmative form. And now my team my vision or my goal that I want to do to the student is that they understand the topic and they are going to use in a real conversation. I think that is the most important thing for the student, that they understand the topic and they use the topic in a real conversation. So thank you. This is my plan lesson of the class.